Welcome in to Bengals Breakdown. I am your host, Stone Shields, and coming up on today's show, Field Yates of ESPN is out with his first two-round mock draft. So it's got first-round picks for all 32 teams and second-round picks for all 32 teams as well. Obviously, now we are getting into the month of April. It is draft month. Teams are really starting to finalize their boards and figure out which guys they really like and which guys they don't really have interest in drafting. And there are some trades in this, by the way, from Field Yates, which we won't really get too much in depth on here on today's show, but none of the trades impact Cincinnati. They're still picking right where they are, number 17 overall, and same spot in the second round as well. Before we get into this mock draft breakdown, we are running it back here in the month of April. We took a month off in March with this like battle with our Ravens channel. We're going to give it a go again here in the month of April. Last time we did this in February, we came up short. Hoping to get the best of Joey Peterson and those Baltimore Ravens here this month. A little bit behind, but obviously only 2 days in. Regardless, help us out. Hit that thumbs up icon. Something you should do for all of our videos here at Bengals Breakdown. All right, let's kind of get into some of these picks here from Field Yates. Cam Ward goes number 1 overall. Abdul Carter, number 2 to the Cleveland Browns. I feel like every time I see Carter mocked to the Browns, I just kind of go, oh boy, right? Myles Garrett. Abdul Carter coming at a weak Bengals offensive line, and Joe Burrow. That scares me. I don't have a problem admitting that. But Abdul Carter to Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders, quarterback, going off the board, number 3 to the Giants. Travis Hunter, in my opinion, the best player in this draft, 4 to New England. Mason Graham, 5 to Jacksonville. And Ashton Jeanty, 6 to Las Vegas. That's another one I've seen a lot of. And to me, I think Ashton Jeanty is going to be good, but a running back at 6 to me doesn't make too much sense in my opinion. Armand Membu, 7 to the New York Football Jets. Was hoping he would perhaps slide down, but it doesn't seem like Cincinnati's got a shot at landing him at 17 overall. Jalen Walker, popular mock to the Panthers. Shamar Stewart, 9 to the Saints. Will Campbell, 10 to the Chicago Bears. Walter Nolan, bit of a surprise there, 11 to the San Francisco 49ers. Teteroa McMillan, 12 to the Dallas Cowboys. Will Johnson, number 13 to the Miami Dolphins. He's been linked to Cincinnati some. Tyler Warren is going to be a stud, in my opinion. Really no doubt about that. 14 to the Indianapolis Colts. Mike Green, another popular Bengals mock, is off the board here for Field Yates. 15 to the Falcons. And Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas, 16 to Arizona. Leads us to the Bengals at number 17. And Field Yates has them taking Gray Zabel, interior offensive lineman, North Dakota State University. It's certainly a need for Cincinnati. Interior offensive line. If they pick an interior offensive lineman at number 17, I'm not going to be up in arms about it. Wasn't something that really was addressed in free agency. Brought in Lucas Patrick, of course. Zach Taylor apparently really likes him. We'll see if he's able to contribute. Don't have a problem with this position necessarily, but Zabel was a guy that I viewed kind of going in the end of the first round. If not, maybe even the beginning of the second round. And Field Yates has Cincinnati taking him at 17. Plenty more on this around the corner, but would you take Gray Zabel at number 17 overall? I want to know what you guys think. If you're Duke Tobin, if you're Zach Taylor, if you're calling the shots here on draft night for Cincinnati, let me know. Type Y for yes or N for no. If that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. You can ignore it. Get down in the comments. Let us know what you think. Before we go in depth a little bit here on Gray Zabel, I do want to break down who is still available on the board for Field Yates at that number 17 overall selection. Two guys that a lot of us really like. They're those safeties, Malachi Starks and Nick Amanwari, both available there for Cincinnati at 17. Mykel Williams also there, and two guys I really like, Jahad Campbell and Tyler Booker, also available for Cincinnati. That Tyler Booker thing is like, okay, you're taking a guard, but Booker was there and you didn't take him. I do have some question marks about that. Let's take a look at what Field had to say about Gray Zabel. He said, while it is no mystery that the Bengals must attack defense in this draft, there's one notable offensive position that is still a big problem: guard. Consider that 64 guards qualified in pass block win rate last season, and Cordell Volson and Alex Kappa, the Bengals' two starters, were 61st and 64th, respectively. Yikes. Obviously not good. Zabel has had an outstanding pre-draft process. He was the best player I saw at Senior Bowl practices, proving he can dominate against top competition after starting 41 games at the FCS level. Plus, teams believe he has the positional versatility to play guard or center in the NFL, and he is always in control as a pass protector. Now, that kind of sells me a lot there by Field Yates, to be completely honest with you. That's all great stuff. that performance at the Senior Bowl, we heard when we were down there at the Combine, people really liked Zabel there as well, and I guess that's why you're seeing him shoot up some people's draft boards. Now, the level of competition obviously is perhaps a concern, right? We were talking about Zabel. This wasn't a guy that played in the SEC, wasn't a guy that played in the Big Ten. He was out there for North Dakota State playing for those guys, playing for the Bison. And guess what? Cordell Volson also went to North Dakota State. I think Scott Peters, your new offensive line coach, is kind of hoping to come in and save Cordell Volson a little bit. Do you get him somebody that also went to the same university in Zabel to perhaps work together? I don't know. It could be something that is interesting for the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a kid that's a really, really tough kid. That's obviously what you need in the offensive line, and he has been able to stay out on the football field a lot as well. I'm looking for health. I don't like drafting offensive linemen that have an injury history. That might not be fair to some of those guys, but that's just kind of how I think they're when you're talking about taking an offensive lineman early in the draft. Field Yates kind of sold me on this, to be completely honest with you. I still like Tyler Booker out of Alabama. He's got some of that big game experience, but I don't have an issue taking an interior offensive lineman in the first round, but you better address the defense pretty much every round after that. We'll continue with our show here in a minute, but first, a shout out to our friends over at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. Springtime is here and baseball season is officially underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your PrizePicks lineup, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash today. They also had the flex play here at PrizePicks, and this is what we're rolling with as far as our season-long flex play goes for football, which obviously is several months away, but regardless, you can get those in, get them ready to go. Going with the less than on Jared Goff passing yards, as well as the less than on Travis Kelce receiving yards. Additionally, the less than on Jaden Daniels rushing yards as well. The beautiful thing about the flex play, you don't have to get all 3 of those correct. You can miss one and still have an opportunity to double your money. PrizePicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. So download the app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It's PrizePicks. Run your game. All right. As I mentioned, Field Yates has a second-round pick for the Cincinnati Bengals as well. Let's figure out, we're not going to go through the whole second round, but we're going to do these last 6 picks here. Ariante Ursary, guy that we've spent a lot of time talking about, offensive lineman out of Minnesota. Field has him going to the Niners. Travion Henderson, running back out of Ohio State, to the Dallas Cowboys. Carson Swishinger, I always say the name wrong, apologies there, linebacker out of UCLA, to the Colts. Darius Alexander, a guy that I like a lot, out of Toledo, interior defensive lineman. Nick Scorton, edge rusher, 47, to the Cardinals. Jonah Savanaia, offensive lineman out of Arizona as well, going to Miami. Cincinnati will pick at number 49 overall in the second round. I guess that's the 18th pick of the second round. There's a comp pick there that makes it so they're not picking at that 17th spot. But regardless, Azareye'h. I had to practice that one. Azareye'h Thomas, out of Florida State, the cornerback there, and he is brothers with Wanye Thomas, who, of course, plays for the Dallas Cowboys. The Bengals could certainly improve at corner, and there's a lot of youth here in that room, so I do have some questions about adding another guy like Thomas to that room, but that is who Field has them taking in the second round. Would you draft Azareye'h Thomas in round 2? Let me know in the comments of today's show. Type A for yes or B for no down in the comments. Let us know what you think. All right, some other guys that were on the board before Cincinnati selected Thomas here in this mock from Field Yates. Shavon Ravel Jr. was still there, corner. I think some people believe that he's a step above Thomas as far as his abilities out there on the football field. Xavier Watts, of course, is a popular pick. Of course, played for Al Golden at Notre Dame. A lot of people want him to kind of reunite with Al Golden there at the professional level. Landon Jackson, edge guy. JT Tuimoloau out of Ohio State. Those are probably the 2 best edge guys on the board in the second round. And then you also have Alfred Collins out of Texas at the interior defensive line, defensive tackle. Let's take a look here at what Field had to say about Azareye'h Thomas, saying, After we addressed their offensive line in round 1, the Bengals could now get to work on the defense. Thomas would bring excellent 6'2" size and ball skills to their cornerback room. Though he lacks superb top-end speed, scouts I spoke with had him in the high 4.5s and the 40 at his pro day. That definitely is kind of the biggest concern when you're talking about Thomas, is that speed. Not necessarily top-of-the-line speed, but he's got great size. He's a really physical player, and as I mentioned, his brother's in the NFL. He has those ties to guys that are in the NFL. Again, I think the Bengals really could use another corner, but I was hoping that they were going to address it during free agency. I thought bringing in a veteran guy would have been more beneficial to Al Golden and this defense as opposed to drafting another guy, because you have a ton of youth in your quarterback room right now, and I don't think necessarily it has developed the way that you were hoping to. Now, your coaches there in the secondary are still the same. You got kind of a revamp there with your coaching staff defensively. Those secondary guys are still in place. Need to see more development from DJ Turner. He was really coming on strong, and then he got hurt. Dax Hill, I'm a big fan of him. He was going to break out, and then he got hurt as well. So those two are kind of unfortunate. Cam Taylor-Britt certainly regressed this past year. Hopefully he can get back on the right track. I think he's definitely going to be a starter for you at this point. Marco Wilson is back on a short-term deal as well. Also, Josh Newton, who showed some promise, your fifth-round pick out of TCU last year. All those guys need to improve. I think they could have used a veteran guy, especially with Mike Hilton probably not being back. But Field has them taking another young corner in this year's draft. To round up here, what Field Yates had in these 2 rounds. Gray Zabel, round 1, pick 17 overall. Interesting selection. I don't have an issue with that, to be honest with you. And then second round, Azareye'h Thomas, cornerback out of Florida State, round 2, pick 49. Don't love that one. Don't like taking a corner that high. Again, would have rather them just got one in free agency and kind of build around the youth that they already have in that room. But really don't have a ton of issues with this selection. And the Zabel one intrigues me in the first round. Make sure you guys hit that sub button if you haven't done so already for all the latest Bengals draft rumors we got you covered, and news, of course, here on the channel, youtube.com/BengalsTV.